Hey everybody, this is part 2 of our OET Speaking. In part 1, we discussed how we have this candidate card, how we should start, how we should address the person, how we should look at these tasks, and we considered all the answers until this part. Now we're going to talk about these questions, and if you have not seen the previous video, please check the link in the description. It is linked. Look at that video first, then come back here. Because now it's very important we finish nicely and also look at these key factors such as address, offer guidance, and so on. So at this point, we're talking to the candidate. We have done a lot of things, explained them their disease, given them some advice. Now we're at this point where the words are address the patient's questions about medication management. So obviously that means answer their questions. When they ask you something about the medication, you don't need to know anything technical about it. All you got to do is address, which means acknowledge. So you can say absolutely, or sure, let me help you with that. For sure, let's go ahead with, and then talk about your answers. Use words like that to, again, address. Make sure to always focus on these words at the start and not compromise them. Now, you want to talk about the purpose, the dosage, and that's easy. You can talk about how many times in a day you have to use it, how many milligrams. You can make that stuff up. You can also make up the stuff of the potential side effects. For example, you may experience temporary nausea when you start taking the medication. However, it's very likely to subside after a few days. Then you want to talk about the timing of medications. Make sure you don't miss any of these prompts. Talk about once a day, twice a day, whatever. And then words like highlight the significance of medication adherence. It talks about highlighting it. Doesn't mean you have to emphasize it. Highlight simply means mention it. So here you don't have to do anything fancy. You just have to make sure you include this. However, when it's talking about the significance of something, you have to exaggerate that. So you have to go high volume when you talk about how important this is. So how I would say the sentence would be, Dear Mr. Alexander, so we're assuming we're talking to Alexander, and again, it's in between conversations, so I'm going to say, Mr. Alexander, I know that life can get busy. However, I have to emphasize, please make sure you're looking at the right schedule when you take your medications. If you take them after your meals, it's going to be very positive. You'll recover faster. If you take them before your food, it's going to have no effect. In fact, you may have more side effects. Hence, please make sure you adhere to our medication schedule. Is that okay? So again, here it's more like a lecture tone. You are kind of being a little assertive, and that's what the question asks you to do. Now, the person would respond, and yes, okay, I'll do that. Now, your next prompt is offering guidance. Here, you would offer. You're not going to, again, force yourself like you were earlier. You would ask, hey, do you need the guidance? And here's how you could do that. We're talking about guidance on self-monitoring blood pressure at home. So, Mr. Alexander, the next thing I would like to ask you is if you already know how to monitor your blood pressure at home, or would you like some assistance in that regard? So here they would say yes or no. You have offered that to them. That's good. Now, the next thing is having the importance, showing them the importance of regular follow-up appointments to assess treatment effectiveness. Here, once again, it's importance, so you want to emphasize it. Also, I want to make sure you understand that you have to visit us almost once every week, at least for the next 4 weeks. We have to make sure we're doing your assessments and keeping you on track. After that, we could do bi-weekly visits. This will ensure your treatment gets everything in the most efficient way possible. So guys, we use these words like treatment, effectiveness. I said efficient because you want to paraphrase it. You don't want to copy paste the question. But I'm touching on every word here, words like appointment, and we want to assess everything so that I don't miss any task response. The next thing is provide resource and educational materials on hypertension management, including tips for all of this. So all you want to do is make up a story, make up a situation where you could say, furthermore, I'd like to present you this chart. This chart explains everything that you need to know about hypertension, how you can manage it. So guys, look at the keywords. We're addressing them, and you should look at your notes while speaking so you don't miss anything. And also, it includes tips for how you could be healthy and live a life with workout, good diet, good sleeping habits. It's all listed right here. Please make sure to go over this section. It might take you a few hours. However, you will see a drastic change for years in your health and lifestyle. Finally, there are some local groups that are mentioned on this page at the end. And guys, in the exam, you can just show your notes. You could just do this and pretend you're looking at a page and then talk about how you can contact these groups. They're working on business hours and these are their phone numbers. Usually they're very helpful and very responsive. So please reach out. They're there to help you. So you're making up stuff, you're making up imaginary thoughts and answering the questions. And whatever you say is okay as long as you explain it in a good manner, without grammar mistakes, with empathy, with good tone, and addressing everything that is listed here. Okay, the finish is important. So see how they ask you at the end. Discuss the importance of ongoing communication and collaboration to achieve optimal blood pressure control. So this is how you're going to finish talking about this last part. So I'm going to discuss the importance. Discussion would mean they might respond and then you might want to respond back. So I would start to say this. Overall, I believe we have covered sufficient grounds today in your assessment, Mr. Alexander. At the end, I would like to say it's very important for us to stay in touch. Communication is key in order to get you healthy and back on your feet as quick as possible. Do you understand that? And yes, I understand, but I'm busy. Let's say they say that because it's a discussion, right? So they might say something to keep you talking more. I understand. I absolutely understand you have a hectic schedule. I'm not asking you to get in touch with me every day for an hour. It's just going to be 5 minutes, 6 minutes for a couple of days in a week where we could just get on a call. And then you have your scheduled appointment weekly anyway. This will be more than enough for us to assess you. And I believe it is very manageable. Don't you agree? So you can ask confirmation questions. Don't you agree? Or is that okay? And they will always nod, okay? And that's where you can get more confidence when they nod and you know you're on track. Now, you want to mention these keywords at the end, whether they say yes or no based on your last response. You want to mention, great, thank you for cooperating with me on this. I do really appreciate it. And I'll guarantee you, in fact, I'll assure you, with these measures and with these follow-ups, we can maintain your blood pressure, your hypertension, and get the levels where they need to be. Aren't you excited about that? Yes? No? Perfect. Great. Let's follow all the procedures that we talked about. I hope to see you soon, and I hope to see you in better health. Is there anything else you need from me, Mr. Alexander? Usually they say no at this point because it's about to finish. Great. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm looking forward to meeting you again. This is how you finish, positive. But before that, make sure you always ask, do you have any questions for me? And then finish up with either looking forward to seeing you again, or you could say, let's set up the time for your next appointment. Please ask the receptionist to schedule you in. Both are very good finishes. And that's it. So guys, that is our review of OET Speaking, how you can answer an effective OET question with the right words and phrases and addressing everything the examiner is asking you. Working on words like provide, discuss, address, offer, guidance. All these are keywords and your expressions are key. Make sure to follow these tips and tricks. Please also like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk very soon.